Jeremy, I don't know if you remember, there was a bunch of articles back in 2018 after the success of Black Panther, leading up to Infinity War, Endgame, all this stuff. There's a bunch of articles where Kevin Feige made a promise to fans, and he actually did come through on this. He said at some point there will be more female heroes than male heroes in the MCU because that's how much they care about diversity. And despite the fact that the media tried to pretend like the MCU doesn't really exist, but they still wanted it anyway back in 2022, it's kind of undeniable that this is now full MCU. The Marvels is the peak, at least I guess you could describe it as a peak. It's more of a valley for MCU, the lowest box office in the history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And right on top of this news, we get more news about the future. Silver Surfer in Marvel's Fantastic Four MCU reboot, reportedly a woman.
Oh my
Because
God.
why not?
The-
Why not at this point? It's worked so well for us the past several years. Let's just gender swap another character for more female empowerment.
Every time I hear one of these stories, I'm sitting there going, there's no way that this actually is true. And it turns out to be true every time. I look at the timing of this and I think there's no way this can be true after what's happened. Like, there's no discussion to be had anymore. This identity politics driven bullshit is a failure. It's being widely rejected to a level that even me and Ryan couldn't see. We didn't see it being this bad. So that tells me like there's no way that they would actually make the Silver Surfer a woman. And for those reasons is exactly why I think they could. I just don't know, man. Silver Surfer is one of the most powerful beings in all of comics. At this point in time, how would you even go about this?
Here's the thing, that there's no reason for them to do this, but there was also no reason for them to make Marvel into a woman in Captain Marvel. You know what I mean? Like literally no reason for that, but they did it anyway. You could use Nova. Like Nova would make so much sense. Nova's also a herald of Galactus. Nova took over basically after Silver Surfer left Galactus. So there are characters that would work in place of this instead of doing a gender swap Silver Surfer, which is explicitly what was reported by Jeff Snyder. And yes, you can expect to see a female Silver Surfer. Now, I think on some other world, on some other Earth, there's a female version of Silver Surfer that's probably introduced in the comics in like the 2010s or something like that, right? Like a lot of these other characters were. But there's no fucking reason for them to do this at all. And also takes a character who has like understandable motivations. You know, he enters service of Galactus because like to try to protect his homeworld and his family and like all this shit. But I don't know, dude. This is such a stupid decision if they actually go through with it. Clearly, we're still a ways off for a Fantastic Four movie. But how, after everything we've seen, why would you do that?
Because this is what they do. This is a pretty prominent character. And if they did this, this would be, I think the backlash would be even worse than they could imagine if they actually make Silver Surfer a woman. This would be bad.